So all right, let's get going. Okay. So like I was saying before, you have to really try to engineer discussion. Sometimes you have to take a step away from the content and talk about, hey, that was a really good conversation you had over here, or hey, you know what, I really like the way you're thinking, or hey, listen, what are you thinking? Like, what is your thought process? Maybe do activities that help them to get into the successful, learning mode. These things are formal and they're also informal. And then you always have to provide that feedback. All right, feedback is so important. Don't have kids do something unless you don't plan on providing them some form of feedback. And that feedback can just literally be you walking around the classroom and stamping their paper saying "great job." It can also be you collecting the tests and writing down answers. So many technological things like Google Classroom is awesome for that feedback to the writer and stuff like that. But it also brings their attention to what's the next part of this task. Okay, so you want to basically get them to become collaborative and also cooperative in their learning. You can take the hardest student at the high school level. Again, that's where most of my experience is. And what I found is that the kid finds that they're successful at something. They may not be openly admitted to the room that they're enjoying the learning, but they'll answer the questions. They'll talk to you. They'll be happy that they're doing well. But you can't just you gotta have to cultivate that. So if you do that, it's going to benefit both the students supplying assistance and also those receiving it. And ultimately, what you really want to do is this whole peer tutoring thing. Get your stronger students with your students that are coming along, and then you really ultimately want to activate students as owners of their own learning. Okay, it's again that self-assessment, that self-reflection, that metacognitive strategy. If they do have ownership over their learning, and they begin to realize that they have a locus of control, it's going to be huge with regards to them being successful in the classroom. So remember, formative assessment is a planned process. The method to improve teaching and student learning. It's not just a quick, hey, let's check for understanding. To be honest with you, those are things that I would do back in the day. And I realized, okay, why am I collecting these tickets and you're just putting them in the garbage basket or putting it back in their folders the next day if I'm not really going to do anything with them? And they're not going to do anything with them. We want to improve student learning, and then you want to provide progressions and frameworks to be able to give them those steps to be successful. And then we went over the different approaches, the application approaches, and also the strategies approach. All right. So some of the things that you got to be careful of. Number one, it's easy to stand behind a podium and talk to your students. It's easy to say, hey, do you understand? And it's hard to constantly reflect on thinking. It's hard to constantly reflect on the learning process. And it's also hard for you to change. I've really gotten into this whole one-to-one with technology. However, I'm beginning to feel like I have one class it's not going to work very well because I have to literally teach them basic skills of, hey, we use these computers for school. We don't use it to fly airplane simulators or play games and things like that. So I've had to take a step back when I'm normally able to do in classes because they don't have the maturity or skill set to do it. So it's got to be very, very slow, and those are things that you do. However, it's a process that's going to get there. Okay. So listen, you guys got any questions on that project? Let me know. Hopefully I wasn't too long, and hopefully this was beneficial to you. Thanks again and have a great night.